Hello, this is Captain. In this video, I'm going to be reviewing the Taipan. And the first thing we're going to be doing is reading the instructions and checking out the workshop page. So this is the Taipan GTS. Let's go over some of the pictures here, some nice renders. Very cool looking. Like the different paint schemes. As you can see, it goes underwater. It's an all-environmental craft. Very cool. Like the render here as well. A lot of creators here. So we have underscore MYP3UK underscore offline, Anonymous Sandwich, Jan, Den Shamanoff, YAGoOaR, and Sergo585. So let's go ahead and look at the description here. So the Taipan GTS is a civilian racing version of an 8th generation aerospace multi-role fighter interceptor. You can go to ArtStation here. I looked at that. It's pretty cool. Welcome to my ArtStation page. Like and follow to see more. It is designed according to the Seraphim aerodynamic scheme with a centrally located cockpit which gives the ship maximum maneuverability both in atmosphere and in vacuum. And together with the anti-G suit and medications allowed for maximum over-G acting on the pilot during maneuvers and acceleration. We're going to need that, I imagine. Controls. Main flight mode. Hotkeys 1, HVR is hover, 2 is VTL, 3 is FFT. Hover mode, HVR activated by hotkey 1. This mode is enabled by default when spawning. The Taipan will maintain a distance from the ground or water, trying to clear the terrain. You can adjust the hover height from 0 to 22 meters using the up and down arrow keys. The speed limiter is set to a maximum by default and can be changed using the buttons on the panel to your left. For your safety, the maximum allowable speed in hover mode is limited to 30% of capacity. WS is forward reverse, AD is yaw, left right arrows are the strafe keys, up down arrows, ascend, descend. 2. VTOL mode, VTL, activated by hotkey 2. This mode transitions the ship into horizontal flight, locking the roll and pitch axes. In this mode, the speed limiter can be set to maximum, but keep in mind that not only the heading, but also the vertical speed changes. So be careful when descending with the speed limiter set to maximum. Controls are similar to hover mode. Free flight mode, FFT, activated by hotkey 3. This mode unlocks all control axes. The Taipan will constantly maintain its position in space. The controls in free flight mode are similar to that of an airplane. WS is pitch up, pitch down. AD is roll left, left right arrows, yaw left, yaw right, up down arrows, forward and reverse. Enabling any of these three modes will automatically disable the other two. In addition to the maximum speed limit, you can also set a comfortable level of maneuverability for yourself. The increase and decrease buttons are located on the panel to the left of the seat. Auxiliary modes. Hotkeys 4, CRS, 5, MOS, 6, DCP. Cruise mode, CRS activated by hotkey 4. It maintains a maximum allowable speed which can be adjusted with the speed limiter. Hint, in cruise mode, you will always move forward, but the flight speed can be adjusted with the speed limiter using hotkeys 7 and 8 or the buttons on the left of the seat. If you're worried that you won't have time to press 4 to disable the cruise control and stop if an obstacle arises, use the anti-collision system button in the left panel and the system will do it for you. To resume movement, turn in a safe direction and you can re-engage cruise mode using 4. Mouse control, MOS, activated by hotkey 5. Attention! As in the free flight mode, FFT, and when the mouse control is on MOS, the buttons responsible for pitch and yaw are released, and control is switched to the following buttons. WS, move forward, backwards. AD is roll left and right. Left-right arrows, horizontal strafe. Up-down arrows, vertical strafe. This combination mode, FFT and MOS enable, maximize the potential of Taipan and is ideal for both racing GTS version and aerial combat arm version. 6. Decouple mode, DCP, also known as 0G for true space, activated by hotkey 6. When this mode is activated, the Taipan remembers the direction of movement and tries to maintain its current speed. You can freely rotate using the buttons or a gimbal control, but you will continue moving in the same direction as when you switch this mode. You can change the direction in mode 6 using the forward back thrust and left right up down strafe to exit decouple mode. So this is very popular in a lot of space games to have a decouple mode where you can essentially, continue to slide in a direction. You can turn around and shoot as you're going backwards, things like that. It's pretty neat. HOTAS seat controls. 7, increase speed limiter. 8, decrease speed limiter. 9, decrease control sensitivity. 10, increase. 11, assigned to the tab button, which switches the Taipan to a more comfortable third-person control mode, raising the camera and smoothing the control. Boost button provides 30% increase in maximum speed or an impulse. The Taipan is stationary, working in the forward direction. When continuously held, the booster discharges in 50 seconds and requires 25 seconds to fully recharge. 14, hotkeys for fire and flares. Recommended for assigning additional hotkeys. I'm not going to put in extra hotkeys. I noticed that it looks like most of the stuff can be done on the panel as well, so I will be utilizing the panel. I kind of like to use some of the buttons in the cockpit. Not mandatory, but for maximum control is also recommended to reassign these. I'm not going to reassign anything. I'm going to kind of run it as a, as though I didn't set up my PC or my my keybinds exactly for this one craft. This will give full control for your left hand and keyboard for most efficient use of the mouse. If the mouse additional buttons, you can assign control of them as well. The interaction buttons Q and E can be moved to RT. The inventory buttons can be replaced. So again, I'm not going to move any of the buttons. It's nice to see specifications here. This gives some flair and some flavor and a little bit more immersion to the workshop page. Always like to see that. Description. Like the combat version, the Taipan GTS is equipped with 2 fusion impulse reactors, 4 power generators, and 2 independent A3 class cooling systems. It has an ion core. Is it ionic core? It must be ionic core. 7K ion propulsion engine with 2 pairs of all-around Triton engines with variable thrust vector, which have 3 operating modes: closed cycle for operation in vacuum of space, and scramjet for occupation in dense upper atmospheric layers. All Taipans are equipped with the Pegasus system by Sergo. It consists of 4 VTOL engines, a system of maneuvering engines, gyroscopes, and independent artificial intelligence control core. Pegasus allows not only for the fastest possible reorientation of the ship in a vacuum, but also for maneuvering and maintaining the ship in any position while in atmosphere. If the planet's gravity exceeds 20 Gs, then maintaining the ship only with maneuvering engines can lead to overheating of the system and increased fuel consumption. The main difference from the military version is significantly reduced weight due to the absence of armor, weapons, countermeasures, reaction, and fire suppression systems, and the absence of ejection seat. Since the power plant remained unchanged and combat systems that consumed a significant portion of energy were removed, it became possible to overdrive the cruising engine, but its prolonged use can lead to overheating of the systems. The maximum boost usage time without overheating is 45 seconds. If used continuously for more than 50 seconds, the automation will kick in, the boost will be turned off, and forced cooling of the systems will be carried out. In addition to the 30% increase in speed, Taipan GTS can also receive improved maneuverability due to the installation of sports gimbaled nozzles of RCS with increased power. Reaction control system. This led to an increase in fuel consumption, but increased angular velocities along all axes and significantly reduced inertia, greatly improving controllability. Taipan GTS only has 1 front shield compared to the 4 in the military variant, which can function as an anti-collision system and is capable of extinguishing up to 5 consecutive impacts in the front hemisphere. Shields are restored over time. Taipan GTS is equipped with basic radars, sonars, and communication systems. It also has aerobatic smoke and 24 illumination flares installed. It has a watertight hatch for docking and exiting underwater. It has foldable wings for aerodynamic braking upon re-entering dense layers of atmosphere and deck storage. Remote control is possible. Credits: Anonymous Sandwich, HUD and Renders, Radar, and the Map. Please do not upload this creation without my permission. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look. And as you can see, the Taipan is pretty complex, but there's a really great workshop page with a lot of instruction there, so I highly recommend people read the instructions, and that should help out a bit. So if I struggle here, I'll go back and reference the instructions and try to go from there. So let's go ahead and we'll start by taking a walk around here. So let's look at the Taipan. Looks fantastic, looks nice and futuristic. I really like the story with it. You know, it talks about how you have a specialized G suit that allows you to, sustain all these G forces, which, right off the bat, I've seen some of the, pictures of this being used, and my brain immediately was like, oh my God, you could die of the G's of that. But so that I really like the little bit of a story there telling you how we have futuristic tech in here that allows you to survive the extreme G forces. So that's really cool. Nice paint scheme here. I like the race paint scheme. There's Taipan on the side there. As you can see, we have some XML lighting here. Really cool paint block work here. Very nice. I like the little details here. I think those are going to be light up. They look like LEDs, and I've seen some of it here. Very cool here. There's nickname there. I wonder if that's for putting in your own nickname, your own like pilot's name on there. Interesting. Always cool to have a race number on there. Ion drives. We're already hovering here, so it auto hovers when you put it on the ground. Very cool here. So very symmetrical. Caution. We have the air intake there. Looks like these. The caution hots look like those must be what would be the RCS maneuvering thrusters. These look like maneuvering thrusters there probably as well, or simulating maneuvering thrusters for a zero-G environment. Very cool here. I like having the glass over the engine. Very much a kind of supercar-esque look to it. Very cool. And that's a very cool look in there. So really nice detailing on this. Really nice paint block work. A lot of extensive paint block work in this. So very cool. All right, nice detailing in here as well. This looks like this must be the underwater docking hatch here. What do we have here? Open hatch there. Oh, let's try to... Okay, so that comes up this way, and that is the underwater hatch there, I believe. And that connectors and dock cam. We have some seating for people to ride along with us, which is nice to see. Remote control there. We have frequency up, down, remote control there. First aid kit for the inevitable injuries we'll sustain. Very cool. So nice detailing in this all around. So we have an actual seat menu that is filled out. That is always a pleasure to see. So AD yaw, WS thrust pitch. Left, right is strafe yaw. Up, down is lift thrust. 1 is hover mode. 2, VTOL mode. 3, free flight mode. 4 is cruise control. 5 is mouse control. 6, decoupled. You can increase and decrease your speed limiter with the 8 and 7 keys. Control sensitivity, plus and minus with the 9 and 10 keys, respectively. Third person's 11. 12 is boost, and 14 is flare. It's very cool in here how you're sitting in the center, and you can look down. Very nice windowing in here. Nice visibility here. Very futuristic visibility on there. So we have front lasers, speed limit. Let me make sure I'm looking at that correctly. Aerial lights, front lasers. We can decrease and increase agility, increase and decrease the max speeds. We have fold wings, so let's go ahead and do that. And as you can see, those come up. So very cool there. Nice little bit of detail on that. Mag-alls enabled. So I believe it has mag-alls on the legs. It automatically brings the legs up, so I'll have to see if I can do something on that. HUD. So let's turn the HUD on. So it has parallax. As we look around, it will move the HUD with our view, which is a cool detail. We have velocity, meters per second. Always nice to show the units. FRD, so what's that, 361. HVR, so we're in hover mode. That's the VTL mode, FFT, CRS. So this will show, I assume, all of our modes as they're engaged. As you can see, this one is highlighted as it's engaged. Speed. 164 looks like our heading. We're heading about south, so that's probably our heading right there. Altitude, 10. Looks like it's in meters. All right, very cool. Map, let's turn the map on. So we have a very cool map on here. It looks like a radar and then a topographical underneath there, but we can also see through. I really like the grid lining. That's a cool feature. Flares, I'm not going to turn on my flares just because I don't want to have a bunch of blinding light in here. Cool to have mirrors on there. We have the switch here, so I didn't have to press anything. I would assume this is done with the mouse look camera, the seat look feature. As you bring it to a certain position, it's going to read out numbers. So very cool. I actually kind of want to put this in some of my builds. I think it would be kind of neat, where essentially probably all you're really doing is if you have a couple dials and you hook it up to the seat look functions, and then you would read what the numbers are and you put it within that range, it should probably pop that button. So that's a really neat feature. I like that. And it looks pretty accurate. As you get right to there, it will go away. So it gives you good space for running your lights. But turn on nav lights, formation lights, cabin lights. All right, so we're going to go ahead and I'm going to, again, read the instructions, as I think that is a wise thing to always do. Right, so the craft, as stated in the directions on the workshop page, it starts in hover mode. As you can see, we have HVR in the left of the HUD there. And so as I read the actual directions here, it is activated with hotkey 1. WS is forward, reverse. AD is yaw. Left, right. Arrows are strafe. Up, down arrows are ascend and descend. We can adjust the hover height from 0 to 22 meters using the up-down arrows. A bunch of people have reviewed this and have not really adjusted their hover height and have hit objects. So I would say that it's probably good to adjust it up a little bit here. So as you can see, we're adjusting up. Let's go ahead and get out of the hangar. So again, following the instructions here, we can keep the menu up in case we need to see it, but I'm looking at the instructions. So press WS, go into third person view here. As you can see, we'll get it outside and I'll kind of take a look at some of the lighting here. We'll quickly go to night mode and nighttime, and we'll see what it looks like in the dark because it has a really cool lighting scheme here. So we have the ion drives, which are very cool. Have some nice navigation lights on there. We have some strobes. Always nice to see strobes. These strobes are really nice and cool. Have that effect in the casts on the ground, which I like that. Really cool paint scheme here. I really like these ion lighting, though. That looks really cool in there. Make it look very futuristic, very spacey. Sci-fi. I'm a huge sci-fi fan, so that's always a pleasure to see. All right, so we'll go ahead and we'll get moving here. So I want to use the up-down arrows as stated in the directions to increase my altitude. I saw a lot of people hitting terrain, and this is terrain following, and so you kind of need to get your altitude high enough so you're actually not going to hit objects. So WS forward, reverse. AD is yaw. So let's go through that. WS, as you can see, forward and reverse. AD is yaw. And we have left, right arrows. I'm sorry, I was strafing. So strafe is left, right. Yaw, A and D. And up, down, as you can see, was ascend, descend. So let's go ahead and we'll go back in first person view here. And we'll take a little bit of a run. So let's go ahead and press W. As you see, we're doing 32 meters per second. And we can increase our speed, I believe, on this side. So increase max speed. And as you can see, it's coming right up. And now we're doing 98 meters per second. So nice speed here. We can also press our down arrow keys. And if we want to get a little closer to terrain, but we have to keep in mind that this is terrain mapping with lasers. As you angle, most likely the laser is going to change its distance. And it's going to, it's going to wobble as it goes over objects. So we're going to want to make sure we have enough altitude that the system can recover us. So we'll go ahead and we're going to go over some of these obstacles. But I saw a lot of people, they were trying to scud run, as we used to call it, and flying was running very low to the ground, which is fine, but you need to give the system some time to account for the distance and to react. So, my policy tends to be, if I'm not going to do it in real life, I don't want to do it too much in game because, I try not to crash. It's something as a professional pilot, I just have something in me not to want to crash. So very cool mode here. I like this. It's nice to be able to just do some terrain mapping and go along here. As they stated in the description, this would also do it to the waves, which I'm very interested in that. So very cool here. It's terrain mapping. As you can see, we're going over some different terrain. I would be cautious going over things like rocks. I like that plateau there. That's really probably not what this mode is for. I would switch to modes. Like going over this is a little hairy. Let's see how it recovers. Yep, so it recovers nicely. But again, if I was down lower, that would probably struggle with that. And so that would be problematic. So let's go over this bit here. So part of it is you have to still be a pilot, which I like. See, it tips along with that. So you definitely tell it's probably a laser system that's running it. Let's go over this. But very cool. So that's a cool mode there. So that is the hover mode. That is activated by hotkey 1. Bring the hotkeys back up here. Go back to the cockpit. All right, so next mode we want to do is VTOL mode. That's 2. All right, as you can see, it changed to VTL, showing us that it's VTOL mode. I'm going to go in the directions, and again, read directions. 2 is VTOL mode. Activate with hotkey 2. This mode transitions the ship into horizontal flight, locking the roll and pitch axes. In this mode, the speed limiter can be set to maximum, but keep in mind that not only the heading, but also the vertical speed changes. So be careful when descending with the speed limit so that maximum controls is similar to hover mode. All right, so we're at full again. Let's go ahead and start going. All right, so as you can see, we're going much faster now. We're going 199 meters per second, where before I was able to go, I believe it was 95. So we're still yawing, so it's very flat. You know, I tend to, you know, if it's going to be a realistic build, I don't like this type of flight because it's not realistic, but this is supposed to be a futuristic spacecraft, and you have a specialized G suit that allows you to do this. You know, my brain kind of breaks just because I'm a, you know, real life pilot, and so this type of thing makes me see like, oh my god, you'd break your spine in the G's. But this is very cool for a sci-fi build, and I love this type of thing. It has, as you notice, has a nice little auto bank where even though I'm just yawing with left right, it is banking, which is nice to see. I can still strafe, but this is flying much more like an airplane, which I like, and I dig that. I can still use my up-down arrows to ascend or descend, so very cool. I like that a lot. So that's cool. All right, so next mode is the free flight mode. So I'm going to let this stop. I like how it does this 6-axis movement, kind of a spacecrafty type of flying. Very cool. So free flight mode is activated by hotkey 3. We press 3. It goes to FFT. All right, we're going to go ahead and read the instructions. This mode unlocks all control axes. The Taipan will constantly maintain its position in space. The controls in free flight mode is similar to that of an airplane. WS is pitch up, pitch down, AD is roll, left right arrows are yaw, and up down arrows are forward and reverse. So we now can pitch, as you can see, with WS. Yaw is now with the left right arrow, so much like they said, much more like an airplane. This is what I'm used to. Again, I'm a fixed wing pilot, so I'm going to press the forward arrow this time. And I'm going to do some maneuvering here. I'm going to bank and pitch. So this is much more natural to me. This is just what I'm used to. You know, I've, you know, about 3,000 hours in airplanes, so it's just more comfortable to me. So this is nice to have the different modes. So if you want to go to something that's more comfortable, we'll do a quick split S here. Come back around. Feels very familiar. The HUD is, you know, we're sitting a little close to HUD, but I can still see the pitch bars on there, and I can still fly accordingly, and I don't feel like I'm getting any vertigo at all or anything, so it's nice. So I really like this mode. We're doing 200 meters per second, which is, you know, in the neighborhood of 400 knots, which is, you know, you're talking, you know, most commercial jets, you know, it ground speed dependent, you know, commercial jets, you're usually running your ground speed. We don't get ground speed in Stormworks. Our airspeed is our ground speed, essentially. So, you know, planes I've flown are limited to like 320 knots. So we're doing about 400 knots. So this is starting to get into fighter jet territory. Very cool. So I really like this mode. This is a more, I wouldn't say comfortable to me. This is more familiar to me. So it is very cool that there are different flight modes that I can go in, and whoever is flying can kind of change their flight mode and find their favorite. That's nice. This gives it a little bit more broad appeal where different people can operate this and have fun. You know, I prefer this mode for myself, but I certainly understand other people may prefer a different type of mode. So this is really cool. I like this flight mode a lot. So let's go ahead and let's stop. If you let go, it automatically stops. Really cool. All right, so the next mode is going to be cruise mode 4. So let's press 4. And as you can see, it's going. It goes, so I should have probably read the instructions before that, but we'll go ahead. It maintains the maximum allowable speed, which can be adjusted with the speed limiter. You always move forward, but the flight speed can be adjusted with the speed limiter. It can be done with hotkeys, but you can also do it over here, which I kind of like to use some in-cockpit buttons. It's nice detailing, so I like to use it. If you're worried that you won't have time to press 4 to disable the cruise control, use the anti-collision system button on the left panel, and that system will do it for you. Okay, so let's go here, anti-collision system, and let's try to set up a collision, which, you know, I don't like to set up a collision. My brain's like, don't do that, don't do that. So let's do it. So here we go. Let's set it up, and it should stop us. Look at that. Look at that. Beautiful. So it gave us a warning, and it stopped us within within a hair of where we were going to hit. So that's a very cool system. So with cruise control mode, it's going to go forward and at max speed or whatever speed you may set with that. And as long as any collision's on, it will stop you. So I was I was quite frightened for a minute there. But that is super cool and very space age sci-fi. Of course, the G-forces would you'd be a milkshake inside of this cockpit in real life. So I really like that detail in the workshop page talking about how you have that specialized futuristic G-suit that prevents that from happening. So that is really cool. So I'm just going to press 1 to go back into hover mode and shut off anti-collision. And that's just because I don't know how it's going to behave if I pitch up. I would assume that, I know it did say that you would have to re-engage the cruise control mode. So that's very cool that you have to re-engage that. So that's really cool. I like that a lot. Let's go ahead and we will, oh, I'm in hover mode now, so I'm just trying to remember the keys for that. So let's raise ourselves up. Let's yaw. Let's go forward. Let's just get back into some open area here to test the next mode. So the next mode here is mouse control MOS mode. I'm not a huge fan of mouse control for myself, but I know it's a popular feature for a lot of people. So let's go to 5. So we're in mouse control mode now. The WS is forward, back. AD is roll, left, right. Left, right arrows are horizontal strafe, and up, down is the vertical strafe. So I can, let me see. So I yaw. Can I pitch with this? So WS is move forward and back. And okay, so okay. So I'm just steering with my mouse. Not my favorite mode. I certainly understand a lot of people like this. You know, it's not familiar to me. You know, as somebody who's flown a lot in airplanes, you know, things will feel uncomfortable to me because I'm so comfortable flying other ways. But this is a cool mode to have. Just gently swaying with the mouse. It has good maneuverability. This would be kind of a cool way that, especially if you're doing a race or something, you wanted to look right there. You know, as you can see, it will go right to there. Your next gate's over here. So I can imagine if you're doing a race course, you know, you're going along. Okay, there's my gate, and it just kind of will follow where you want to go. So that's a cool mode. I like that. Up, down is vertical strafe. Left, right is horizontal strafe. So that's cool. I like it has this inertial trend vector on there. That's pretty cool there. All right, I'm very interested in trying out the next mode. This is decouple mode. This is kind of like a space mode. This is how it would be in space flight. So let's go ahead and press 6. Let's read it first. Let's not make the error up. So I have yet to crash. I'm trying not to crash. I've seen a lot of people crash this. I'm going to try to see if it can be the first one not to crash this in their video. Decouple mode, DCP, also known as 0G or true space, activated by hotkey 6. When the mode's activated, Taipan remembers the direction of movement and tries to maintain current speed. You can freely rotate using the buttons or gimbal controls, but you will continue moving the same direction as when you switch in this mode. You can change the direction in mode 6 using forward, back, thrust, up, left, left, right, up, down, strafe. To exit decouple mode, press 6 again. All right, so let's go ahead, and I'm going to press I'm going to get rid of mouse control here. So I'm going to get, let's see. How do we get rid of mouse control? So, wait, I'm just trying to reread mouse control here. I want to get rid of it here. I'm pressing, let me just make sure I press the correct button here. 5. Okay, you have to press 5 again. I pressed 1 trying to see if it would reset, but 5 does it. Okay, good. So let's go ahead and press 6. All right, so now we're in DCP mode. It looks like we might be able to do 2 modes at once. So I think free flight is the airplane. So I'm going to go both decoupled and airplane. This is probably going to be most comfortable for me. So we're going to use the forward arrows, and we're going to go up. So it seems like you can do multiple modes at once. And so I'm going to try doing decoupled. So I am touching nothing now. As you see, it maintains its velocity as though we were in 0G environment. So in order for me to cancel this, what I'd have to do is most likely find my velocity vector, which, there it is. So see this little, nope, that's not it. Is that it? Okay, I'm looking for my velocity vector here. And so I'm pressing the forward arrow, and I'm overcoming it. So this is very much a space mode. So I'm trying to see if I can find my trend vector. I think that's it. I think this little O, is that? Yes, it is. Okay, so see that little O? So if I want to fix myself here, see I'm going to the ground, I can strafe to the right, and I need to press forward to cancel out my velocity. And there's my vector. This is my trend vector showing where I'm going. As you can see, so now it's showing it's above us. So as you can see, we're actually rising even though we're pointed there. So this is cool for, you'll see this in a lot of space games. Like, for example, let's say the enemy was below you. You could still continue to go this direction, shoot at them. And then if you want to stop your velocity, you want to put your trend vector back somewhere close here. And if I press the down arrow, as you can see, now it's behind me. So I can re-engage. So you'll see this in a lot of space games. I strafe this way, so if I want to stop my motion, I can aim at the trend vector and aim at it right like that, and then I can press the down arrow and I can zero out my velocity. This is something that those who've played Kerbal that will notice that you would go to your velocity vector and you would change your velocity vector. So very cool. I like this mode. This mode's fun. Let's get close to the ground. So we're accelerating currently back towards the Earth. And so as you can see, we're coming up in the mountains here. So this maintains my velocity. So I have to cancel out all velocity changes. So one thing you can do is I'm pressing the forward arrow as I'm moving, and it will keep the, as you can see, the velocity will go with you. That's pretty natural. But as you can see, we're going along the ground here, and I can turn myself, and as you can see, we're continuing the strafe. And then if I want to aim up and press up, I can change my velocity vector there. So I can aim where I want to go and then change my velocity vector. So I could turn, I could shoot at this, and I could change my velocity vector. We had a hit there. I was trying not to crash. Minor hit. I don't think, let's see. I did a little bit of damage there. But very cool craft. I like this a lot. So I think that is the end of the modes. Yep, that looks to be the end of the mode. So really cool. I think there's a different type of flight mode for every person. I personally like the airplane mode. I like decoupled. Decoupled would be cool, again, if we had some sort of space. This would be fun for, if you're shooting guns or something, you would turn, you would shoot, and then you'd come back, and you would reassign your velocity vector by essentially turning and powering up. As you can see, my velocity vector comes back into the center. And we can roll, we can bank. My favorite mode, I would say, is got to be the, I'm just trying to make sure I don't crash, is the FFT, the airplane mode. And that's just because I am most used to that. As you see, I took off 6, and it will cancel out my velocity vector. So, for example, let's do this really quick. Let's turn 6 back on for the decouple mode. So this works like most decouple modes in space games, Space Engineers or Star Citizen, the game that shan't be named. But so we're currently in decoupled, we're going to hit, deselect decouple mode, the vehicle will automatically stop itself. So if you get in an emergency, you can press 6, shut off decoupled, and it'll go into coupled mode. Coupled mode, kind of historically in space games, has made it so that it will automatically cancel out your velocities. So this is a really cool aircraft. There's a lot to love about this. It's very well done. A lot of great detailing in there. I really like the paint scheme. I really like, I'm going to try to not look at the area I damaged. As you can see, we have really great paint scheme, a lot of really cool lighting. Let's go back to night and appreciate it at night. As you can see, really cool at night. And we can do some rolling here. I really like the map in there. The map is super cool. I like the HUD. The HUD it's pretty familiar to me. It's easy to read, even though we're sitting this close to it. The most important information being the pitch ladder is there. It's cool. The map, especially at night, is really neat to see. I like all the different modes. There's a mode for every person. I really like that a lot. I like decoupled and coupled mode. That's a lot of fun. I thought the cruise control was really fun, how if you have anti-collision on, it will stop you dead in your tracks. Some great renders on there by Clara. Some good HUD work on there by Clara. Let me go to credits. So I hate to screw up the people who've credited here. So we have Anonymous Sandwich, HUD and renders, radar and map. Very cool. I really enjoyed these. As a pilot, this feels pretty comfortable for me to get in there. I know where the compass is. It's a little bit different than what I'd have now, but again, this is futuristic, cool stuff here. Very cool craft. Some really great work on this. It's very user-friendly. I recommend people read the directions. I've seen some people try to fly this without reading the directions and then getting themselves into trouble. excellent, really excellent workshop page. A lot of work went into that. I recommend people take the time, go through the workshop page. There's a good story in there. There's some really good instructions. And if you read the directions, you should be able to operate the vehicle well. And so I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Credits. Anonymous.